city of 4 million people normally hums with the sound of motorcycles, dense street markets, and music. But in March, when the country went into a lockdown, those sounds petered out. And so did work for Colombians like Daniel Arango Aguirre. Arango once walked the streets of the city's tourist area selling art, but then came the lockdown. Now he rides his motorcycle around upper-class neighborhoods selling board games and puzzles to families in quarantine.
Before, you never thought you'd be selling this. A man who once sold avocados is now selling these games. He's a friend in Medellín. He once sold avocados on the street, and now what does he do? Load his cart up with board games, and he goes to sell them because with the lockdown, you have to search for what makes more money and sells faster.
It's a dilemma across Latin America as unemployment skyrockets and informal work has dropped off. In Colombian cities, about half the workforce is informal, and that number is even higher in rural areas. For many, it's adapt or go hungry. Some play music, beg on street corners, or drive around selling street food like tamales and mazamorra, a corn drink popular in Colombia. But as Latin America becomes an epicenter of the pandemic, the risk of infection for these workers becomes even more real. Pedro Brito sells avocados on his bike after he lost his job cooking at a Chinese fast food restaurant. He's a Venezuelan migrant among 5 million who have fled their collapsing country. Like Arango, he said he leaves his home every day in fear.
The worst thing would be if my family got sick in this contagion, because I'm here with my cousin and friends, and they too sell avocado. We try to protect ourselves the best we can, but it would be very hard if one of us got infected. And we live together, so then all three or all of us who live here get infected. And here, we don't even have insurance. We don't have anything.
Colombia is slowly loosening up quarantine restrictions in the hope of averting an economic crisis. But as more people emerge from their homes, cases are on a steady uptick. As cases continue to rise, analysts expect inequality to worsen in Latin America. One analyst called the pandemic an added blow to informal workers who are already among the region's most vulnerable. With not many options, disinfectant and masks are their best hope. Megan Janetsky for VOA News, Medellín, Colombia.